Peace, y'all. It's your man DJ KNS coming to you live once again from the lab right here in sunny South Florida. Today, I wanted to switch it up. So normally in my previous videos, you would see I would either sample something off of vinyl, sample something e-digging style where I dive into my large collection of music in my computer and my iTunes. But today, I want to try something different. I'm actually going to use some sound packs and machine expansion. Specifically, I'm going to be using sounds from Havoc from Mobb Deep, the infamous producer kit that was put out by Nature Sounds a few years ago, as well as the Queensbridge Story Maschine expansion put out by my boys Native Instruments. Now, they did not sponsor this video by any means necessary, but I'll go ahead and put the links in the description just in case you want to go ahead and pick those up. You know what I'm saying? Support the culture and everything like that. As a DJ in the 90s earning my stripes, a lot of Mobb Deep's music ended up in my playlist. I'm talking mixtapes, club sets, radio mixes, the whole nine. Obviously, I've collected a ton of their music, mostly on vinyl, but I also have a lot of albums on CD. Now, when I'm talking about vinyl, I'm not just talking about the album. I'm talking about I got the singles, I got promos from the labels. I got a ton of material from these guys because they're easily top 10 dead or alive. You know what I mean? I've even had the privilege of opening up for these guys back in the days down in the club in Miami. I can't remember what the name of the club is, but here's the picture from that night. And with that said, let's get it cracking. All right, back again, your man KNS. Like we said, we're gonna mess with some of Havoc sounds from the infamous producer pack and also from the Queensbridge Story Maschine expansion. So let's go ahead and dig in and let's go browse and let's see what we can do. So there we go. So let's go over to the infamous producer pack. All right, so here it is. Let me see what we got in here. Let's go to loops. Griminess going on here. We already know what that is. We definitely know what that is. So aside from the obvious, we're not gonna mess with that. We're gonna find something that maybe the cats wouldn't recognize, you know what I mean? We already know what that's from. I think we're gonna go with that one. All right, so we'll do that. And let me go ahead and duplicate that, or I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna move it to this pad. All right, so I have it on this pad now. And let's go ahead and sequence that in there. All right, so we got that in there. So let's go ahead and see how that sounds. All right, so since this went in as an audio file, the way it loaded, I can just mute it, unmute it, and stuff like that. I think what I want to do is add the delay to it. So let me go ahead and browse. All right, so we have a delay on here now, right? So let's see how it sounds when I mute it, all right? All right, so that sounds dope, right? What I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna copy this sound over here. Okay, so let's do that now. And then I'm gonna filter it, right? You know, some 90s production techniques. So go ahead and do that now. All right. So for this one, we're going to have to put a filter on the joint. So I'm gonna put a low pass filter on here, and then we're gonna filter it out, and it's gonna add some low end to it. All right. I have a filter on here, and we put the cutoff pretty low to about 221 hertz, and it sounds like this. And then when I mute it, you still got that undertone. Then I bring this back in, mute it, and then, you know what I mean? The tail with the delay is going, but you still hear this. All right. All right, cool. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add some drums, right? We're going to use the Queensbridge Story, which is here. Okay. All right. So first things first, let me go ahead and look for. I usually start with the hi-hat, so I can lay down kind of a rhythm and then turn off the metronome. I hate hearing the metronome, so I usually use the hi-hat as my metronome. So let's go ahead and go through here and see if we find something useful, which I'm sure we will, because a lot of these sounds sound pretty dope already, to be quite honest. I heard something right here. Let's go with that one. All right. Let's go ahead and look for a snare. Usually I'm not really showing this process because it's kind of boring to some people, but I'll go ahead and show the process of, you know, sound design, or kit design, I should say, because we're looking to build a kit. And a lot of these sounds is dope. I ain't gonna front. He really, that sounds pretty dope. This is another part of when you're making beats, especially when you have a lot of, oh yeah. Especially when you have a lot of sounds to work with. You know, part of the tedious process, one of the most tedious process about making beats is finding that right group of sounds that work together. And when you have a ton of sounds, man, sometimes that process takes a long time. But so far, you know, I found a nice hi-hat and I found a nice snare. So let's see what else we got. All right, so I think we're gonna go over to I think I need another snare. I'm gonna stack some snares, so let's see. All right, let's go with that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these guys in a link group. So what happens is this. It goes like, so now that they're both in the link group, if I hit either one, they both trigger each other. So now it's stacked. Cool. All right, so that's what's up. Let's go find us a kick now. All right. What are we gonna find in this set of sounds? Punchy. As you can see, if you see a little star by it, that means I've favorited that sound, so I can easily find it by choosing my favorites. You know, because sometimes you might want to reuse some of these sounds because they're that good. So that's another little tidbit of information. Start favoriting your sounds if you really like them. Let's see if we can add some percussion in here. Let's see what we got here. Some toms. Okay. We got that. All right, cool, cool. So this, I think we're good with this now. Actually, you know, I forgot the kick is not here. I forgot to load it. I think it was called Sickness is what I like. All right. All right, now that I got my sounds picked, let's record a pattern and see how it sounds. All right, so I neatened it up a little bit. I shifted a couple of notes around, and then what I did was I lengthened that pattern to about 8 bars. Okay, I did 8 bars. So this is what we got so far. Okay, okay, all right. So with that said, I think we can go ahead and move forward and get a bass, all right? So let's go ahead and browse the Queensbridge Story again, and let's see what they have in here. Single notes. Let's check that out. And yes, there we go. We have some bass notes in here. All right. So let's see. The funny thing is when you hear some of these sounds, you don't think you would hear these in a Mobb Deep record or a Havoc produced record, but that's dope. Let's go with that. All right. All right. So now we have that in there. Let's go ahead and see. All right. So it's pretty short, unfortunately. But there's a way we can get around that, which is dope, right? So we're going to go ahead and loop the end of it. I'll show you what I mean. All right, so we'll start it to play there. Let's go to the zone tab, type loop in. We got to go to sampler and change that from one shot to ADSR, attack, decay, sustain, release. So when I hold it and let it go, it stops, right? So now that it's on loop, let me go back here. You can hear it's doing this weird loop. So we just need to adjust the start of where this loop is gonna go. As you can see, the little bracket is moving here. So let's see. We're gonna go to about right there. Now the end, because it fades, it makes the loop sound like trash. So let's go ahead and close that bracket down a little bit. All right, so we have some loop points, but let's do a crossfade. All right, that's gonna clean up that little popping at the end. See what I'm saying? So now I have a long note. Increase this a little bit more and see if that. All right, so there we go. So now we have our bass note. So we can lay down a bass line with this now. All right, so let's see if we can get us a nice little grimy bass line on this joint. Yes, sir. All right, so we got the bass line down, which is proper. So what else can we do to this track so it's not so basic, right? All right, so let's get some ambient sound going on, right? Let's get like something really strange going on to add to the griminess, you know what I'm saying? Because we want, this is like, since this is Havoc's kit, you know, we have to get this to sound like the streets of Queensbridge, you know what I mean? So let's see what else we got. Let's go over here and let us browse for some more stuff, some layers. Let's go into the Ambience tab here and see. Well, there's really not much. So we're going with that. think we need to put that to ADSR. Mute. All right, so what we can do with that is the same thing I did with the first sample, is add a delay to the joint, right? So let's go ahead and browse. Let's go to a delay, beat delay. All right. Now we just got to get the parameters right of how we want this beat delay. So this 316 not gonna work. All right, so let's change that to 216. Increase the feedback a little bit. Now it's starting to sound like, you know, you about to get robbed for all your jewels in an alley in Queensbridge. All right, so let's record that in. So let me go ahead and mix all of these sounds here so that we can level these things out and we'll see how it sounds. All right, so I kind of like tweak the levels of the sounds. So right now I'm gonna play what we have, and I muted like some of the groups, like the drums, the bass, and like the other layers. And I'm gonna bring them in piece by piece so you can see how the song builds. So here we go. All right, so man, that's what we got so far. Again, big shout out to Havoc from Mobb Deep for putting together these sounds, for Nature Sounds, for the infamous producer pack, and also for the Queensbridge Story put out by Native Instruments Maschine expansion. As always, comment, let me know if you like it. Let me know if you would add something different, subtract something, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. But always, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Until next week, KNS out. Peace.